And now for the 1 versus 3 minigames in Mario Party 1. Some of these minigames are controversial though, for the control stick spinning maneuver, where it's not enough to just use the finger. Some go as far as to move it with their palms, like in this form. So the first one is Bash and Cash, which some people say is one of the worst games in Mario Party 1. I can kind of see why, but then there are some different things. It's pretty much most bad disadvantage if you're the Bowser suit character, the solo player, where if you get knocked out around and hit by so many hammer strikes from the 3 players, you're technically screwed, as you'll lose your coins. And it's even worse if you actually lose all of your coins. So pretty much all you can do is move and jump and everything, and ground pound the players, but I don't know how it will help. So I'm kind of mixed on this game. It can be somewhat good if you're the 3 players, but not so well if you're the 1 player. So if you want to play this game, you'd probably rather want to be the 3 players, rather than the 1 player in the suit. So every time I'd see this minigame, I would really be hoping I'm on the team of 3, so I can at least beat the crap out of the 1 player and try and get the game. So it's not my favorite minigame, but it's an alright one. Bowl Over. One of the 1 versus 3 minigames people do rate in a good list. Bowl Over is another minigame that appears in Mario Party 2, which we'll get into in that game. In this game, 3 players take form of bowling pins in a set of 7 and have to avoid being bowled over by a green shell, which the solo player will throw and control through one of 3 variations of an alleyway. This can either be an alleyway that curves slightly to the right, slightly to the left, or zigzags in the form of curves. If the single player knocks over a normal pin, they'll get a coin, but 5 points from the player they knock down. If the player's shell touches the sides or reaches the end of the lane, the game ends. The 1 player will do a disappointing pose if they didn't get any coins, but otherwise will do a winning pose if they did get coins. And then there are changes in Mario Party 2, which we'll get to there. This is an alright minigame. I sort of enjoy this one. It's pretty interesting on both sides. If I'm on the team of 3, I'd rather just be wanting to get them knocked out and everything, and then just trying to avoid getting hit so I don't lose anything. And then if I'm the 1 player, the best part to do that is if there's a person ahead of you in the actual game who's in first place in the game, try and knock out that person in the game, as well as at least getting everyone else too, just for a better advantage. So Bowl Over is a pretty alright game. Coin Block Bash. This is almost similar to Coin Block Blitz, except Coin Block Blitz is a 4-player game, and Coin Block Bash is a 1 versus 3. In this game, there is also a field of 9 blocks, except they're bricks. Unlike in Coin Block Blitz, they are question mark orange boxes. Each block carries a varying number of coins, and then the player with the hammer is capable of hitting the brick blocks with 1 swing, but they are considerably slower than the other players. So 1 player has a hammer, and then the objective is to get the most coins. And you can also hit other players with the hammer to avoid them getting any. I'm a bit okay on this game. It's not the best game. So technically, if I'm the one with the hammer, I would just be wanting to knock them back just to get the coins. And if someone else has it, I just better be getting the hell out of there or else I'm gonna hit. Coin Shower Flower. This is another game many people don't rate a lot and rate on any other lists. In Coin Shower Flower, it starts off with 3 players on boats and 1 on a flower. The player on the flower must try to catch as many coins that fall from the sky as they can. The flower tilts with each movement, and the player on the flower must be careful as to not fall off. If the player on the flower falls, the minigame will end and the players in the boats will win. I don't see that happen a lot, actually. I don't see anybody fall off the flower a lot. Mainly I see, like in, that one other minigame I mentioned in the 4-player games, where there's rarely any losing. So yeah, I don't see anybody fall off the flower a lot, so I think that's how it is. So I'd rather be the person on the flower, actually, because there's a majority of the coins that fall there. And if I'm on the one in the boat, just be lucky to, like, get a coin if the one player somehow misses. I'm trying to see which 4-player game it was I said, where there's also rarely any losing. Actually, it might have been Running of the Bulb, where I said that I rarely ever see any losing to the boo or anything. So yeah, that's technically how it is. Next we have Crane Game. This is another very underrated game. Not many people rate a lot. I'm mixed on this game, actually. It can be good and kind of bad. It's kind of bad if I'm the... It's kind of bad either way. Like, if I'm the one player, it's kind of hard to pick them up sometimes. However, there's like an advantage to getting the time bonus things. And it's really even worse if you're actually on the team of 3. Where technically you just get like flat out screwed after the player gets the times, then that's it. You ain't gonna make it. In this game, one character will be hanging from a crane in a room full of doll versions of another character. There will be various treasures lying around the room. The character operating the crane has the option of picking up either one of the dolls or one of the treasures that are scattered around the room. If the crane operator picks up one of the treasures, they will be rewarded with coins depending on the one they pick up. The single coin is worth 1 coin, the coin bag is worth 5, and the treasure chest is worth 10. The character operating the crane must align themselves over one of these items, then drop themselves using the A button. Once they pick up the item, they must rapidly press the A button to hold onto it and drop it into the warp pipe. However, if the crane operator decides to pick up one of the character dolls, the dolls must struggle from the crane operator's grasp. If a doll is dropped into the pipe, they will lose 1/3 of their coins that will go to the operator. The crane operator will have only one try when trying to pick a doll or a treasure up. That changes in Mario Party 2, but we'll go into detail when we get to that game. So Crane Game is kind of mixed. I can either like it or kind of not like it. It's up to some ways. Next we have Paddle Battle. This is one of the controversial spinning games. Control stick spinning games. Where you must spin the stick to be on one side. One player's on one side, they must spin it to get 3 players there, and then the 3 players must all spin it to get the 1 player on that side. In this game, the game starts off with the players in a raft. 3 players are on one side while the one player is on the other side. Both sides must rotate the joystick to try and get the other side towards the edge of the river. At the edge of the river, there will be shy guys with spears. If a shy guy hits a character with a spear, they will lose coins. And then this game, along with pedal power and tug of war, cause players to get blisters due to rotating the control stick. So to me, I'm kind of mixed on this game. It's kind of aggravating too sometimes, and just kind of makes me upset sometimes when playing this game, no matter which side I'm on. Because whichever side I'm on, I always somehow end up losing some coins, and there's just quite only some instances where I do win. So, not my favorite game in Mario Party 1, so it's just different. Pipe Maze. To some, this is... Okay, here's the weird thing about this minigame. A lot of people say this is more like a 4-player game rather than a 1 versus 3 because, as it says, whichever player gets it wins the coin. So, this game feels more like a 4-player game rather than just a 1 versus 3. Now, they should have changed that up and added this game to the 4-player games rather than a 1 versus 3, because that is definitely not how it feels, but it's an okay game to play. You just gotta... It's kind of based on skill, not too much luck, where you just have to find the pattern and keep your eyes on the pipe, find which one to drop it into if you want to get the coins. So, Pipe Maze to me is mainly skill, not really a luck-based minigame, so Pipe Maze is alright. Another underrated game many people don't rate a lot. Piranha's Pursuit. This is a minigame some people really do not like for some reason. In this game, the 3 players must ground pound on a cloud in order to help a piranha grow. The player that is on the cloud is on a... The one player is on a skateboard trying to escape from the plant. As the plant grows, it becomes faster. If the plant catches the player on the skateboard, the 3 players will win. And if the 1 player crosses the finish line, the 1 player wins. Now here's the reason why many people do not like this game. One is because the single player almost always wins. So that means if you're the single player, better make sure you know what you're doing, because it might be unlucky at some points when the 1 player is always winning, that if you end up being that person, you might actually screw up. Then it will be one of the times where the 3 players actually win. Now, not very often do I see the 3 players win. Every time I see this minigame, whoever's the 1 player is most likely going to win, unless they massively screw up. That'd be the only way the single player would lose, is if they screw up, so... A little mixed and kind of negative on this game, so... Definitely not my favorite to play, but... Yeah. Sorry for that. A leaf just dropped. I thought it was something else. Alright, tightrope treachery. A lot of people don't really like this minigame either. In this game, the single player must walk across the tightrope trying to stay balanced as they work their way to the end. And the single player is actually known for having the easier position because, like in Piranha's Pursuit, the single player almost always wins this minigame. Not often do the 3 players win, because every time I see this minigame, the 1 player almost always gets to the finish line, and the 3 players don't really win a lot. The 3 players must work together to try and knock the single player off. I don't see them fall off a lot usually. They must knock them off with cannonballs. They have until the player reaches the end to try and knock him or her off the tightrope. The win helps alone in this minigame for the 3 players. It's also very similar to another game, actually in Mario Party 8, called Treacherous Tightrope, but we'll get to that when we get there. And this game was also remade into Rainbow Run for Mario Party 2, but we'll get to it when we get there. So yeah, Tightrope Treachery, not my favorite to play, but between Piranha's Pursuit and Tightrope Treachery, I don't know. And finally, the final 1 vs. 3 minigame, known as the highly controversial Tug of War. Now, a lot of people seem to hate this game for the main reason. Control stick spinning games. And that's why a lot of people rank this as the worst Mario Party 1 minigame ever. To me, it's close to being the worst one, or in some degree, me agreeing actually that it is, but... Anyways, in this game, 3 players are on one side of a cliff, and the other 1 player is in a Bowser suit. Each team will try and pull the other into a piranha plant down below, which will eat them. The 1 player tries to pull the 3 players in, the 3 players try to pull the 1 player in. In this minigame, along with Pedal Power and the rowing game, Paddle Battle, a lot of people got blisters on their hands and hurt their hands from technically these minigames. But Pedal Power is actually a 1-player minigame, which we'll get to there. So yeah, Tug of War to many is very much the worst Mario Party 1 minigame ever. Even worse than Paddle Battle and Pedal Power. So that sums up the 1 vs. 3 minigames, and I'll be ready for the 2 vs. 2 minigames.